The Minister of Legal Affairs brings legislation to establish a licensing committee which will free up magistrates' time to focus on matters requiring judicial expertise. Debate on the Miscellaneous Provisions Licensing Committee Bill 2014 began in the Senate this afternoon. The Miscellaneous Provisions Licensing Committee Bill 2014 seeks to amend 8 pieces of law: the Liquor Licenses Act, the Cinematograph Act, the Registration of Clubs Act, the Theatres and Dance Halls Act, the Moneylenders Act, the Pawnbrokers Act, the Licensing of Dealers Act, and the Old Metal and Marine Stores Act. According to the Minister of Legal Affairs Prakash Ramadar, it proposes that approvals will no longer be determined by a magistrate. Rather, it will now rest with the clerk of the peace. He explains to the upper house how the new system will operate.
Where an application is made and all of the statutory reports are in, all the required reports are in, and where there is no objection, it is a matter, I would use the term automatic, that the license be granted. If there is an objection from any citizen as to that license being granted or renewed or whatever, that person is required to place the objection in writing to the committee.
And at least one independent senator is applauding the bill, if only because of what it would mean for residents.
But it says that the magistrate may, on complaint made in writing by an aggrieved person, and he will now take into account causing of annoyance to persons in the vicinity of that trade or business, among other things, by virtue of excessive noise. So I think this will be a great comfort to many residents in many of our neighborhoods.
And while the opposition commends the bill's legitimate aim, Senator Faris Al-Rawi points to harmonization issues, saying that it is loaded with conflicts of interest and confusion, a simple case being the definition of minister.
I didn't know if it was going to be the Minister of Legal Affairs or the Minister of Finance, because this, Mr. President, all these 8 pieces of law that we are touching actually have to do with excise duties, that is customs and excise. Those are divisions of the Ministry of Finance. All monies collected under the 8 pieces of law which we are amending all go to the Controller of Customs.
Senator Al-Rawi is urging the Senate to consider all the parts of the law in its full context. Stiffer penalties for persons caught selling liquor to minors. That's according to Attorney General Anand Ramlogan. During debate on the Licensing Committee Bill 2014, the Attorney General noted that selling liquor to minors was a problem in our society. He said the legislature was a responsibility to send a very strong, powerful and definite message.
If you sell liquor to a minor, on the first time you get caught, we are increasing the present fine from $2,000 to $7,500. That's for the first time offense, 1 strike. 2 strikes, we are increasing it from $5,000 to $10,000 and a term of imprisonment for 1 year. 3 strikes, we increase the fine from $7,500, we double it to $15,000 and to a term of imprisonment of 2 years.
Independent Senator David Small had raised the issue of repeat offenders early in the sitting. He said the current fines and penalties were not enough of a deterrent to a persons caught selling alcohol to minors.
How do someone comes and says, listen, he's been fined once for selling alcohol to underage to children, and he's fined $1,000 or whatever it is. Okay, fine. And then he does it again, $1,000, and then he does it again. There needs to be some incremental increase in the penalty so that it could be, let's say, for the first offense, and then the second time it's doubled or tripled or whatever. I think that's something that we should think about to really put a deterrent in there. I agree with my colleagues senators that the fines, as they are kind of small, and they could probably use it and increase, but you need to put a